Welcome to Faces Friday. I'm Lynn Sherritt. Thanks so much for joining me. In this Faces Friday, we're going to talk about collaborative learning teams. I believe all learning teams are powerful when they're organic and they begin with co-constructed operating norms and protocols that point to the commitment of the members. In this session, Carolyn Gumley, consultant with the Melbourne Archdiocese Catholic Schools, Victoria, Australia, discusses principal learning teams with me. All learning teams of teachers and leaders are dynamic and powerful when they have clear, purposeful visions and also explicit support for each of the members in pursuing their own collaborative inquiry. Have a listen.
So thanks, Lynn, for having a conversation with us today. You've mentioned principal learning teams in your article, Pedagogically Focused Leadership, which we've read as a key strategy. So are you able to share an experience where this has worked well?
I find that principal learning teams, when they're organic, work really well. So my experience is broad-based, but I'll tell you about one of the principal learning teams that I think work really well. We had 5 principals who wanted to go more deeply into assessment that informs instruction and how do they become instructional leaders and who would they go to for support in terms of things they were worrying about. So these 5 leaders, principals, decided that they would establish some operating norms for and co-constructed them, and then they would develop a protocol together that they could live with for meeting every month. So the 5 of them met and they continued to meet, but they started with a protocol, and the protocol went like this. They decided that they would come together and they would walk in the school they were in, and they took turns going to each other's school. And they do a learning walk and talk, and that's something that I really believe in, that we need to be in our classrooms daily, and so do they. So they did a learning walk and talk together, and then they came back together and they discussed what they saw on evidence of learning. And then they each took turns developing their inquiry question and sharing it with each other and looking to each other to help them solve the problems that they were facing in becoming instructional leaders, and looking to each other for that support, that critical friend, challenge, and facilitating the vision that they had at their schools. So that became a focused conversation. And they left, and the protocol became that before they left, they talked about what evidence would they bring back to the next principal learning team meeting that showed that they put into practice one of the pieces that people around their table had suggested. And I guess what was powerful about that was that all 5 of them agreed that each year they would each go away and find 5 more principals to learn together with them. So we started with 5 organically and ended up those 5 influencing 5 more and 5 more. So I think that's a wonderful lesson for all of us in terms of collaboration. Thanks very much for joining me on this Faces Friday. It was about learning together, and it's so important during these really challenging times when we're distracted. It's only that when teams get together, they really can collaborate and support one another to focus on all students' learning. Thanks again. See you next Friday.